Well, turning now to the city of Portland and results from a new citywide survey that reveals what Portlanders believe to be the top challenges and priorities, some 3.5 months into the new form of government. The results are a tool for city leaders to consider as they try to craft a budget with a $93 million gap. So today, my photographer and I hit the streets to hear from Portlanders and city leaders. Ask any Portlander, and they'll likely agree on one thing.
I love that currently we have all of these parks and playgrounds.
I love the scenery. Portland's a pretty beautiful place.
To most, this is what makes Portland, Portland.
The flowers and the greens, the trees.
Well, it feels like we live in a forest.
This week, the city just released the results of this 2024 survey on community challenges and priorities. More than 4,000 people took part. Topping the list for what they love about the Rose City, you guessed it, public parks and natural areas.
I love all the people, the community, and being able to walk around.
But it's not all sunshine and roses. 85% of those surveyed said homelessness was still the greatest challenge facing the city.
This seems to also be a sanctuary for homeless people, so I think that that's something that needs to be addressed.
I wouldn't blame them.
Holly, who camps along I-5, sees the fentanyl crisis as her biggest threat.
My ex, that our 10 years was coming up, and I just lost him from a fatty overdose.
Having some sort of common sense solutions to deal with homeless population and kind of finding good, equitable, and humane solutions to give people a chance to survive and strive in the community.
73% of those surveyed labeled the cost of living as the city's biggest challenge.
A lot of people aren't making enough money to pay their rent or buy a house, and I think that needs to change.
You know, we have to kind of be tiptoeing when it comes to our expenses.
59% of those surveyed had concerns with community safety, especially people in East Portland, District 1. Results show people there experience the most fear of being the victim of a violent crime compared to people in other districts.
And I think Portland has gone through a rough transition, and we still got a long ways to go, but we are in the beginning of a renaissance. We are in the beginning of a turnaround, and the public safety numbers are encouraging. We're seeing a decrease in many areas of reported crime, but still unacceptable for me, both as a chief and as a community, so there's still work to be done.
Results of this survey come at a critical time and are now being used as a tool for city leaders like Ruth Levine in the thick of building this year's budget.
We are very much in the heat of things.
They need to find ways to fill a $93 million budget shortfall, something City Administrator Michael Jordan warns is no small task.
From the chair I sit in, there's no direction I can look that we don't have challenges.
The department currently at risk of facing the biggest cuts, the one people love the most, parks and recreation.
They were looking at about $23 million of cuts out of about $170 million in their operating budget.
It's not good. It's not good. People, all kinds of people use the park. From, like, you can see families and kids and sports. And I mean, it's not right to cut the budget for that.
So trying to thread that needle and make sure that there's a balance there and we do what Portlanders tell us are their most important things, it's a challenge right now.
And it remains unclear if any cuts are coming to Portland Police.
If we are cut or if there is a lesser amount, then there will be a reduction in services. We haven't determined exactly where that will be because we have to see, where the chips will fall. But at the end of the day, any kind of reduction will mean, less of an opportunity to provide that high level of public safety for Portlanders.
Now, the results of this survey are being presented to City Council tomorrow. And City Administrator Michael Jordan told me today that Mayor Keith Wilson has until the end of this week and at the latest early next week to finalize his budget, which will then be shared with City Council on May 5th. Following that, there will be opportunities for Portlanders to share their thoughts on his proposed cuts. And I also want to pause there for a moment and just briefly say that we do read all your emails and listen to all your voicemails. And we hear many of you when you say that we are covering too many stories about the homeless crisis on this show and that you're tired of it. Well, time and time again, homelessness is the #1 issue Portlanders care about. That's what this survey showed and has been the case for years. So we will continue to report on this crisis, work to hold people accountable, and get all sides of the story, one that directly or indirectly affects just about everyone in our region. So, with that being said, what do you think about the survey results? What are your top concerns with Portland? What do you love? What do you think needs to change? Let us know. Email the story at kgw.com or call and leave a voicemail, 503-226-5090.